It's 6 p.m. Cairo local time, and it's time for the English news bulletin on the Egyptian television. This is Sahar Talawi, starting up with the main headlines. President Sisi reviews with the head of Iraqi National Wisdom Movement regional developments and the bilateral ties. Israeli occupation forces continue aggression on Jenin for the 36th day, leaving 27 Palestinian dead. And the South Korea opposition urged court to remove Yoon over martial law. Welcome back. The news in full. President Sisi stressed the significance of preserving the stability and security of Iraq, adding that Egypt is ready to employ all its capabilities to support the development and the efforts and to achieve ambitions of the Iraqi people. The head of the state remarks were made as he received the head of Iraq's National Wisdom Movement, Ammar Al-Hakim, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, President Sisi reiterated the importance of establishing a Palestinian, along with the 4th of June 1967 borders with the East, Al-Quds as its capital, being the only guarantee to reach lasting peace in the region. The meeting also focused on regional developments and their repercussions, with both sides stressing the necessity of implementing the phased ceasefire in agreement in Gaza, exchanging the prisoners and the hostages and the excess of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. President Sisi also stressed the significance of starting the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip without the displacement of its people, rejecting of any suggestion to displace the Palestinian people. And the presidential spokesman said also that the talks also covered the developments in Syria, with both sides stressing the importance of preserving the unity and the sovereignty of Syria. And for his part, the Iraqi guest expressed high appreciation for the historic ties to build Egypt and Iraq, hailing the key role of Egypt in preserving the security and stability in the region. In another meeting, President Sisi said that Egypt is keen to continue enhancing bilateral ties with Cyprus in all fields in the mutual interest, namely in the energy, trade and investment fields. President Sisi was speaking during his meeting with the President of the Cypriot House of the Representatives, Anatia Durtumatu, with the attendance of the Parliament Speaker, Dr. Hanafi Al-Gibali, and the Cypriot ambassador to Egypt. Presidential spokesman, Ambassador Mohammed Al-Shenawi, said that during the meeting, President Sisi hailed the deeply rooted and strong ties binding the two countries. The head of the state stressed the significance of enhancing bilateral cooperation in parliamentarian field, being a main pillar to boost Egyptian-Cypriot ties. And the regional and international issues also topped the agenda of talks, especially the situation in Gaza, Syria and Lebanon. The meeting also stressed on the importance of respecting the sovereignty and the safety of the countries, and also the importance of reaching a peaceful settlement of all crises. And Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said that the President Sisi agreed to set the 3rd of next July, the date of the opening ceremony for the Grand Egyptian Museum. Dr. Madbouli was speaking during as he shared a meeting to follow up the preparations for major opening ceremony. Separately, Dr. Madbouli said that the state is keen on the success of development projects carried out on Ras Al-Hikma in the North Coast, Marsa Matruh. The Prime Minister's remarks were made during a meeting to follow up the pace of the work in a number of mega development projects in Ras Al-Hikma, with the attendance of the Deputy Minister of Industrial Development, Kamil Al-Wazir. During the meeting, Dr. Madbouli reviewed the compensation process at the region, in addition to the development projects at the investment zone. And within Egypt's efforts to support the Gaza Strip, the Rafah border crossing continuing receiving the humanitarian aid and the relief aid trucks ahead of handing them to the Gaza Strip. A source at the border outlet said that 154 aid trucks, including 4 fuel trucks, entered Gaza after being inspected at the Karam, Abu Salim and Al-Auja border crossing southeastern the Strip. Egypt seeks to facilitate the entry of heavy equipment lifting the tractors, the caravans to Gaza to start reconstruction there. And the Israeli occupation troops continued their aggression on Jenin and its refugee camp for the 36th day in a row, with leaving at least 27 Palestinian dead, scores wounded, and at least 40,000 Palestinians have left their homes in Jenin, a nearby city of the Tulkarm in the northern West Bank, since the occupation troops began violations just a day after reaching a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. The Israeli occupation demolished houses and infrastructure in the camp. The month-long aggression in the northern West Bank has been one of the biggest seen more than 20 years ago. And the World Health Organization expressed a deep concern about the unprecedented violence in the occupied West Bank and the impact of the sharply rising aggression of the Israeli occupation forces on the healthcare. The WHO says there have been 44 attacks at the year of the affected provision of the healthcare in the West Bank, with 4 healthcare facilities impeached. It added also that 4 patients died waiting for the ambulance, and 8 health workers were injured while attempting to reach the patients. And Syria's interim president Ahmed al-Shara said that the country had historic opportunity to rebuild, addressing a national dialogue summit billed as a key milestone. The Shara stressed that Syria must unify the various armed groups under a single military command, saying the country's strength lies in its unity. He added also that the national dialogue marks the beginning of a crucial phase for Syria's future governance after years of devastating civil war. Hundreds of Syrians gathered at the presidential palace in Damascus for one-day event. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov visited Tehran today for talks with the senior officials. Iranian state media reported that Lavrov is to meet his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that the talks would cover the Russian-Iranian relations as well as a number of the current international issues. Ukraine announced today that the Russia attack wounded over people and damaged the residential buildings across Ukraine. Separately, the Ukrainian military said it shot down 6 out of 7 missiles and 133 out of 213 drones, while another of 79 drones did not reach their target. The Russian forces have been launching a larger-scale drone and missile attacks on Ukraine since the Kremlin started an attack on Ukraine in February 2022. Suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol said today that South Korea had been facing an existential crisis when he declared the martial law last year, remaining defiant and unapologetic as he faced the final day of the impeachment hearings that could formally remove him from office. More details follow in the coming report.
South Korean parliamentary lawyers seeking President Yoon Suk-yeol's removal over his short-lived imposition of martial law compared him to a dictator in final arguments during his impeachment trial on Tuesday. Yoon was expected to make a closing statement late in the hearing before the Constitutional Court reviewing his impeachment as public hearings wrap up and his political fate is placed in the hands of 8 judges. Yoon faces being removed from office less than 3 years into his 5-year presidency if the court upholds Parliament's impeachment, which accused him of declaring martial law on December 3 with no justifiable constitutional grounds. Lee Kwang-byung, one of the lawyers for Parliament, compared Yoon to previous autocratic South Korean leaders including Park Chung-hee and Chun Doo-hwan. Yoon wanted to create a world where his every word would be written into the constitution and sought to privatize the country and reign over the constitution, Lee argued. Another lawyer said Yoon's allegations of election fraud were conspiracy theories that have had a fatal impact on the credibility of the election system. The president has said in his trial he had a right to declare martial law but never meant to impose full military rule, instead arguing he intended to warn the opposition Democratic Party's abuse of its parliamentary majority.
The Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade, Engineer Hassan Al-Khatib, headed to the United Arab Emirates, leading Egypt's delegation in the fourth round of the Joint Economic Committee meetings. Al-Khatib is due to hold meeting with the Emirati Minister of Economy to review means to enhance economic ties in various fields. Data showed that amount of the trade exchange between Egypt and the UAE reached $5.5 billion in 2024. And Egypt bourse turned lower to closer today, aimed Arab investors sell and foreign investors. The market capital of the company added some £4 billion to exceed 2.2 trillion Egyptian pounds amid an average 1.1 billion Egyptian pounds. The benchmark index AGX 30 dipped 0.3% to close below the 30.926 points mark. The equal weighted index AGX 70 was slightly up 0.1%. The AGX 100 index fell 0.2%. And now to the sports, where our Atletico Madrid manager has urged his players to focus on one game at a time as they face Barcelona in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg later today before a Champions League test against Real Madrid in a demanding schedule. The 5-week stretch includes a two-leg clash against Real in the last 16 of the Europe's elite club competition and another with the meeting in the Barca La Liga, with Atletico trailing the two giants by a point at the top of the table in the heated title run. The return leg is in April 2 in the Metropolitan. And the Manchester United has said they expect to make up to 200 fresh job cuts as part of the transformation plan to improve the club's financial sustainability. The United have also increased the ticket prices despite a backlash from the supporters. The club said in a statement that the plan aims to return to the club to the profitability after 5 consecutive years of losses since 2019. Despite the financial struggles, Manchester United were fourth in the Deloitte Annual Football Money League of the world's richest clubs, published last month. And now, Egyptian meteorological authorities said that the cold weather is expected to prevail tomorrow during the daytime over Cairo, the northern coast, Upper Egypt, and the Sinai, cooling off at night all over the country. Here is a closer look to the expected high and low decrease in Cairo and other governorates. By this, we come to the end of our news bulletin. Thanks for watching. This is Sahar Talawi.